The mist of Shinano Mountains did not merely drift, it breathed. It rose slowly, like a living thing, from the deep green valleys far below. It clung to an ancient cedar bark with gentle, invisible fingers, tracing every groove, and not as whispering secrets only the trees could understand. The mist pooled in the low places like spilled milk, thick and soft, turning the world into a quiet dream where edges blurred and sound softened before they even reach to air. High on the edge, tucked away from a distant clash of steel and endless wars that still echoed in the valleys, sat a small hut of weathered wood and thatch. This was the Hermitage of the Falling Leaf. No grand temple, no guild gates, just four walk. No grand temple, no gilded gates, just four walls of dark, eight smooth cedar, a low thatched roof that sighed with every breeze, and a single sliding door that opened to the endless green. The hut seemed to grow from the mountain itself, as if the earth had gently pushed it upward one quiet morning centuries ago and then forgotten it was there. Inside, the world was not measured by the hurried passage of sun and moon, nor by the ringing of temple bells or the shouts of samurai. Here, time was counted only by the steady, rhythmic sounds of the tea path, soft, deliberate, endless. Kaito moved with the deliberate gaze of a man who had spent half his life perfecting the art and the other half on learning it, breath by breath. His silk kimono, the exact color of charcoal after rain, rustled so faintly it was almost a secret between the fabric and the air, a dry host whisper like wind sliding through dead autumn grass. He knelt slowly on the tatami mats. The woven straw gave the faintest sigh beneath his knees, releasing a deep, earthy scent that smelled of sun-warmed fields and ancient rain, grounding him, pulling every restless thought down into the floor like roots finding soil. He stayed there for a long moment, simply breathing in and out, letting the mountain air fill his chest and leave again, carrying away fragments of old battles. Before him rested the sukubai, the stone water basin, cool and smooth as polished river rock. From the bamboo pipe suspended above it, a single perfect drop of water formed, grew heavy, and fell. The sound was clear, pure, like a tiny silver bell struck once in an empty temple. Drip, it fell every few seconds, never hurried, never late, a patient heartbeat the mountain had kept for 1,000 years. Kaito watched each droplet swell and release, mesmerized by the way of the mist outside seemed to match its rhythm, as though the entire world had slowed to this one gentle pulse. He reached for the long handled bamboo ladle, the hishaku. His fingers, one calloused from years of gripping, A katana so tightly, the leather wrapped the hilt wore thin, now treated the light wood as if it were spun glass. He lifted it with infinite care, letting the bamboo natural weight rest in his palm. The surface was cool and slightly rough, reminding him of living things that had once grown tall in the sun. Slowly, so slowly, he dipped the ladle into the clear water of the sukabai. The water accepted the bamboo without a splash, only the softest kiss of liquid against wood. He lifted it, the surface trembling with the tiny ripples that caught the dim light filtering through the paper screens. He poured the water into the iron kettle with patience of someone pouring a secret. Not a single drop missed its mark. The sound was a gentle glug like a mountain stream finding its way over smooth stones. When the ladle was empty, he rested it back across the mouth of the stone ball, then vibrated through the quiet room like a heartbeat, returning to perfect rest. Tock. The single note lingered in the air for a long moment as if the Hermitage itself had taken a deep, satisfied breath. Kaito closed his eyes and simply listened to the after echo fade into the mist outside, the bamboo group surrounding the hut sighed in response. The stalks brushed against one another in the softest wind, creating a chorus of gentle wooden clacks that harmonized perfectly with the earlier talk of the ladle. Everything was connected, everything was calm. He remained kneeling, hands resting lightly on his thighs, letting the silence wrap around him like the softest blanket. The mist outside thickened slightly, pressing against the walls as if wanting to come inside and join the ceremony. The cedar beams above him creaked once, a tiny, friendly groan, then fell quiet again. This was only the beginning. The water was ready, the fire waited, and Kaito's heart had already begun to slow to the rhythm of the mountain itself. In the center of the small room, the furrow, the portable brazier, held a small, perfect mountain of white ash. Within that soft bed of ash, three pieces of charcoal glowed with a quiet, internal pulsing heat, like tiny red hearts beating very slowly. Kaito leaned forward with the same unhurried grace, his charcoal kimono sleeves brushing the tatami with the faintest rustle. He placed the heavy iron kettle, the tetsubin onto the coals. The iron met the heat with a soft, almost inaudible sigh, a long, contented hiss that seemed to say, I am home. For a long, long time, there was only the sound of breathing fire. Each breath of the coals rose and fell like the chest of a sleeping giant. The white ash shifted ever so slightly, sending up delicate curls of heat that you could feel on your cheeks if you were close enough. The room grew warmer by tiny degrees, a gentle warmth that crept into your bones and melted away any remaining tension from the day. Kaito sat perfectly still, watching. He did not think of battles he had once won with his flashing steel. He did not remember the friends he had buried beneath cold cherry blossoms. He only watched the way the fire breathed and let each exhale carry another layer of old weight away from his shoulders. Inside the testo bean, the water began to wake. At first, it was only a low murmur, a granular vibration so soft it was almost imagined. Then the pitch rose, slowly, patiently, until it became a steady, comforting hum. This was known in the world of tea as the wind in the pines. The sound filled with Hermitage like a distant forest breathing together. A thin ghostly plume of steam began to curl from the spout of the kettle. It rose in a single, elegant spiral, dancing in one shaft of golden light that pierced the dimness from the high window. The steam twisted, thinned, vanished into the shadows of the bamboo rafters above, only to be replaced by another delicate thread. Kaito's eye followed each wisp as though it were the most important thing in the world. The steam carried the faint scent of iron and mountain spring water, clean, ancient, pure. He breathed it in, held it, let it go, matching the rhythm of the fire. Outside, the mist had grown thicker, pressing softly against the paper screens like a loving hand. The bamboo grove continued its lullaby, the stalks knocking together in slow, sleepy clacks that perfectly matched the breathing of the fire. Drip came the patient sound from the sukubai behind him. Tock, the ladle still rested where he had left it, its echo now part of the room's memory. Everything moved together, everything was one gentle rhythm. The water inside the kettle grew hotter, the hum deepened into a soft, rolling boil, never loud, just a steady, reassuring song. Tiny bubbles formed and rose, each one releasing a miniature sigh before disappearing. The iron kettle itself began to radiate warmth that reached Kaito's knees and palms, chasing away the last traces of mountain chill. He sat for what felt like hours, though it was only minutes, letting the fire and the water and the mist and the bamboo all speak to one another in their soft language. His breathing slowed until it was almost imperceptible, in and out, matching the hiss, matching the drip. The former samurai felt his shoulders drop another inch. His jaw softened, his hands rested open on his thighs like two quiet leaves. The war was far away, the steel was cold and forgotten. There was only this room, this fire, this kettle, breathing its ancient song, and the mist outside that seemed to lean closer, wanting to listen to. The steam continued its endless dance. The water outside kept its promise. The bamboo group sang its lullaby, and inside Kaito's chest, something deep and old finally let go completely. Kaito reached for a chawan, the tea bowl. It was uneven, beautiful in its perfection, beautiful in its imperfection, fired in a flame where the flames had left long, loving streaks of deep crimson and midnight blue. The glaze felt cool and slightly textured against the fingertips, like holding a piece of the mountain itself. He placed it before him with infinite care. He placed it before him with infinite care. Beside it lay the chasin, the whisk carved from a single piece of golden bamboo, its 80 delicate tines curved inward like the fingers of praying monk, ready to awaken the tea with the gentlest touch. He measured out 2 precise scoops of vibrant green matcha powder. The powder fell into the bottom of the bowl with a silent, soft poof, a tiny cloud of emerald dust that settled like a fresh snow on a forest floor. The scent rose immediately, bright, grassy, alive, filling the room with the smell of spring rain on young leaves. Then came the water. He poured it with a hand so steady it might have, guided by the mountain winds themselves. A thin, perfect stream hit the powder with the gentlest splashing, 3 tiny sounds that felt like raindrops on a temple roof. A green began to swirl, waking up. Kaito gripped the bamboo whisk. He began to move his wrist, not in wide circles, but in a sharp, precise, back and forth motion that had been practiced for decades until it became meditation itself. The sound was rhythmic and hypnotic, like a broom sweeping a stone path at dawn, like like life itself being gently stirred into being. The sharp scratching slowly transformed, becoming softer, further as the tea began to form. Kaito set a whisk aside. He held the chowan in both hands now. The warmth seeped through the ceramic and into his palms, chasing away every last shadow of chill. He did not drink immediately. He simply held the bowl, feeling its weight, its temperature, its life. He looked at the tea, a small, contained sea of green swirling with tiny bubbles that popped so softly you could almost hear them sigh. Outside, the wind brushed against the bamboo group once more. Kaito brought the bowl in his lips. The stalks knocked together in a slow, sleepy rhythm, wooden clacks that now felt like the final lullaby of the entire ceremony. The mist had grown even thicker, wrapping the Hermitage in the cocoon of white silence. Kaito brought the bowl to his lips. He took the first sip, slowly, deliberately, letting the tea rest on his tongue. It was bitter at first, then sweet, then perfectly clean. It tasted of the earth after rain, of young leaves drinking sunlight. the mountain itself offering peace in liquid form. Another slow breath. Each swallow seemed to travel all the way down to the center, warming, softening, releasing. When the bowl was empty, he placed it back on the tatami with the same reverence he had shown everything else. The empty chawan gleamed softly in the fading light as the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long, amber shadows across the tatami mats. Kaito closed his eyes. The former samurai felt the last traces of tension melt away completely. The war was far away. The steel was cold and forgotten. There was only the fading warmth of the kettle, the gentle smell of damp straw and cedar, the infinite silence between the drops of water, and the soft echo of the hollow talk still lingering somewhere deep inside his chest. The ceremony was over, yet the stillness remained. It filled the room, it filled the hermitage, it filled the mist wrapped the mountains, and now, if you let it, it can fill you too. Breathe in, breathe out. The echo of the hollow talk will stay with you deeper into the most peaceful sleep.